Hello, I'm Claire, and I've reached the vibrant age of 30. In the vibrant city of Denver, Colorado, I share my life with my husband, Nathaniel. Life unfolds as a beautiful journey, particularly now as we anticipate the arrival of our first child with great excitement. As I approach the 8th month of this incredible journey, each kick, flutter, and heartbeat resonates with pure joy and anticipation for both of us. Over the last 2 years, we have dedicated ourselves to prioritizing savings for our baby's future above all else. Nathaniel serves as an IET consultant, frequently engaging in additional freelance projects, while I oversee finances in my role as a full-time accountant. We both trim unnecessary expenses, forego vacations, and relinquish luxuries, all in pursuit of establishing a robust financial safety net for any unforeseen medical needs during or after delivery. We successfully set aside $150,000 dedicated to our baby's hospital expenses, treatments, and care. It transcends mere finances. It embodies a profound sense of tranquility, a reassurance that, regardless of the circumstances, we can provide our child with the utmost care they deserve. Throughout my pregnancy, Nathaniel has been my steadfast support. He is present at every doctor's appointment, assists in preparing the nursery, and even joins me in reading parenting books during the evenings. The nursery has been adorned in a gentle sky blue. The crib has been meticulously assembled, and we have gathered all the necessary essentials for our little one. Each detail brims with affection and optimism. Among the greatest gifts in my life has been Nathaniel's mother, Rosalind. With my own parents residing at a distance, Rosalind has embraced the role of a mother figure for me, welcoming me with warmth and affection. She exudes kindness, radiates warmth, and is filled with a profound excitement at the prospect of becoming a grandmother. She frequently extends invitations for lunch, prepares my favorite dishes, and shares insightful advice drawn from her own experiences. Yet, despite the joy these moments bring, the journey has not been without its challenges. Vanessa, the elder sister of Nathaniel, has perpetually navigated a complex dynamic with our family. Throughout the years, she has faced the challenges of infertility, and I genuinely empathize with her journey. Yet, rather than discovering solace, Vanessa has permitted her anguish to morph into bitterness directed at me. Throughout my life, I have endeavored to embody kindness and respect, steering clear of conflicts. Yet, her passive-aggressive comments consistently manage to pierce through my resolve. In order to maintain a sense of harmony, Nathaniel and I typically schedule our visits to Rosalind's home during times when Vanessa is not anticipated to be present. On most days, this straightforward approach proves effective. Yet, I remained unaware that our existence was on the brink of descending into a realm far more sinister and perilous than I could have ever envisioned. As my pregnancy progressed into the 2nd month, Nathaniel and I experienced the profound moment of hearing our baby's heartbeat for the very first time. The gentle, swift rhythm resonated throughout the room during the ultrasound appointment, evoking tears in both of us. It was indeed genuine. A small life was blossoming within me. That evening we marked the occasion in a serene embrace at home, our arms wrapped around each other a touch more firmly than normal, filled with a profound sense of joy and thankfulness. As the weeks rolled by, the morning sickness gradually subsided, and by the time I stepped into my 5th month, we arrived at yet another significant milestone, the gender reveal appointment. As I reclined on the exam table, Nathaniel's hand clasped in mine, a blend of nerves and anticipation coursed through us both. The ultrasound technician beamed and announced, "Congratulations, it's a boy." My eyes brimmed with tears. Nathaniel pressed his lips gently to my forehead and murmured, "Our little Leo." Months ago we had settled on the name, but hearing it confirmed imbued everything with a newfound sense of reality. As each month slipped by, Nathaniel and I found ourselves increasingly equipped, both in our hearts and in our finances. We completed the painting of Leo's nursery, assembled his crib, and meticulously organized the tiny clothes by size. As the 7th month unfolded, our savings had gracefully ascended to $150,000, forming a robust safety net that enveloped us in tranquility. Throughout the journey, Rosalind stood as my unwavering pillar of support. She came by frequently, prepared meals for us, supplied vitamins, and even joined me for several doctor appointments. When Nathaniel's work became hectic, she was filled with joy at the prospect of becoming a grandmother, always busy crocheting tiny baby blankets for Leo. Her warmth soothed many of my anxieties as a new mother. Yet, despite the beauty of these moments, the lingering shadows of Vanessa's bitterness remained ever present. Though we largely steered clear of direct interactions with her, there were moments when our paths unavoidably converged, and each meeting felt akin to treading on fragile glass. On a leisurely Sunday afternoon, Rosalind graciously extended an invitation for us to join her for lunch. She had prepared my favorite dish, her renowned roast chicken infused with garlic butter. Nathaniel and I made our entrance, flowers in hand, yearning for a tranquil dining experience. Yet the moment we crossed the threshold, a heaviness settled in my chest. Vanessa had taken her place at the dining table, awaiting the unfolding of the evening's events. Our eyes locked, and while she attempted to smile, the biting chill lurking in her gaze was unmistakable. "Well, look at you," she remarked, her voice dripping with irony. "It seems you continue to embody the fragile role of the expectant royal, don't you?" I inhaled deeply, striving to maintain my composure. "Hello, Vanessa," I responded gently, maintaining my calm demeanor. With a steady demeanor, Nathaniel stepped forward, his voice resonating with both calmness and authority. "That's sufficient, Vanessa. We've come for lunch. Not your biting remarks." Vanessa feigned ignorance, a casual shrug escaping her shoulders. "I was merely engaging in casual conversation. Try not to take things too personally." Rosalind, the quintessential peacemaker, deftly steered the conversation away from any potential discomfort, inquiring about the nursery, proposing baby names, though Leo had already made his choice, and engaging in light chatter about the weather and recipes. Despite our efforts to align with her guidance, an unshakable tension lingered, casting a shadow over the meal. Throughout the afternoon, Vanessa maintained her distance, absorbed in her phone, occasionally rolling her eyes at Rosalind's enthusiastic chatter about Leo's impending arrival. In the face of discomfort, I urged myself to maintain a sense of calm. It was merely a handful of hours, and before long, we would find ourselves back in our serene little haven. Little did I realize that this unassuming lunch would mark one of the final serene moments before chaos descended upon my life. In the days that followed that charged lunch, Nathaniel found himself swept up in a whirlwind of meetings and errands that filled his morning to the brim. Feeling quite well that day, I chose to visit Rosalind by myself. She had extended an invitation for me to assist her in sorting through the baby supplies she had been gathering, a task that never failed to elevate my mood. Upon my arrival, the house radiated a warmth and invitation that was as familiar as it was comforting. The aroma of freshly baked banana bread wafted through the air as Rosalind greeted me with a radiant smile. "Step inside, my dear. I baked your favorite," she said, guiding me into the kitchen. For the next hour we engaged in lively conversation, meticulously folding baby clothes, while discussing the final touches I might require for Leo's impending arrival. The uncomplicated instances shared with Rosalind enveloped me in a sense of support, as if I were accompanied by a second mother, steadfastly by my side. Yet, the tranquil atmosphere proved to be fleeting. As I rose to fetch another box of delicate little onesies, the sound of the front door creaking open reached my ears. My stomach clenched at once. The familiarity of that voice washed over me. "Vanessa." She sauntered into the living room, scarcely casting a glance in my direction. "Oh, it's you," she remarked with a hint of indifference. "I never expected to see you here today." I maintained a demeanor that was both courteous and wary. "I was just as surprised to see you here." Rosalind, feeling the palpable shift in the atmosphere, swiftly made her way to the upstairs bedroom to retrieve some old storage bins, leaving me momentarily in the company of Vanessa. My heart raced. Being in her presence made me uneasy, yet I was reluctant to show any signs of vulnerability. Vanessa set her phone aside and fixed her gaze directly on me. This moment was devoid of irony, replaced instead by a steely resolve. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice cutting through the air. "It revolves around the finances." A furrow formed on my brow, a swirl of confusion enveloping me. "Which money are you referring to?" "The $150,000 you and Nathaniel saved for the baby," she stated matter-of-factly, her arms crossed defiantly. "It is essential for me." I stood there, taken aback by her boldness. "The funds are designated for Leo's medical treatment, Vanessa. We set aside funds for unforeseen circumstances, preparing for any eventualities that may arise during or following the delivery. You have no idea if you'll even require it, she retorted sharply. In the meantime, I find myself overwhelmed by the weight of debt incurred from my fertility treatments. Family is meant to support one another, yet your actions reflect a sense of selfishness. I inhaled deeply, striving to maintain my composure. I sincerely empathize with the challenges you faced, yet I must clarify that this amount is fixed and not open for discussion. It concerns the well-being and protection of my son. I am unable to provide that to you. Her visage contorted in a tempest of fury. This is not something you have earned. You have just tied the knot with Lucky. No one has faced the same trials that I have. You fail to recognize the abundance of blessings in your life. Just as I was about to reply, Rosalind's voice echoed from the stairs below. Is everything all right down there? I responded swiftly. Indeed, Rosalind, we are well. Yet deep down, I was aware that all was not well. The intensity of Vanessa's gaze, coupled with the palpable bitterness emanating from her, revealed that a crucial part of her had fractured. The atmosphere became laden with unease. Vanessa's eyes blazed with fury, her breath coming in heavy gasps, her hands tightly balled into fists. My heart pounded in my chest, a primal alarm ringing in my ears, warning me that solitude with her was no longer a sanctuary. Do you believe yourself to be superior to me? She drew nearer, a sharp hiss escaping her lips. You are unworthy of Nathaniel. This is not what you deserve, my dear. Vanessa, I urge you to take a deep breath and find your composure. I spoke, my voice trembling yet steady. This approach is not suitable for addressing any situation. Simply cease. Before I could complete my thought, she surged ahead with an alarming swiftness. Her foot struck my swollen belly with a sharp, vicious kick. A cry tore from my lips as a wave of excruciating pain surged through my abdomen. My body instinctively curled inwards, hands encircling my stomach in a protective embrace as tears welled in my eyes. And then I sensed it. A swift surge of heated liquid permeated my garments, cascading down my legs. My water has just broken. I inhaled sharply, quaking with fear. Yet Vanessa had more to say. My body, frail and bent, succumbed to her grip as she seized a handful of my hair, yanking it sharply backward, forcing my head to rise. A sudden, searing pain pierced my scalp, prompting a cry to escape my lips. With a fierce intensity, she seized my face with her other hand, her grip tightening around my cheeks and mouth, her nails biting into my skin. She hissed, "Perhaps if I shatter your flawless existence now, you'll at last grasp the essence of true suffering." Tears streamed down my cheeks as I gasped for air, caught in the relentless hold she had on my face. My thoughts were consumed by the little one, my dear Leo. Each moment stretched out, lingering like a timeless echo. In an instant, a piercing scream shattered the stillness behind us. "Vanessa!" Rosalind's voice echoed from the hallway. She descended from the upper floor, her expression one of sheer terror as she beheld her daughter launching an assault on me. In an instant, Rosalind surged ahead, her voice laced with unbridled fury. In an instant, she struck Vanessa across the face with a resounding crack that reverberated through the room. "What seems to be the matter with you?" Rosalind let out a piercing scream. "She is in her 8th month of pregnancy. This time, you've truly crossed the line. Further than I could have ever envisioned." Vanessa recoiled, momentarily taken aback by the intensity of her mother's rage. Rosalind acted without hesitation. In a flurry of motion, she struggled to seize her phone, her voice raised in a frantic shout directed at me. "Claire, remain by my side. Stay right where you are. I am reaching out to Nathaniel. I am currently dialing 911. As the pain surged, my vision began to fade into a haze. My breath came in shallow gasps, yet I managed a weak nod, filled with gratitude for Rosalind's presence. In mere moments, the world unraveled into a whirlwind of disorder. Nathaniel burst onto the scene, his complexion ashen, urgency etched across his features as he hurried toward me. His hand tightened around mine as the paramedics gently hoisted me onto the stretcher. Tears cascaded down his cheeks as he murmured, "I'm here, sweetheart. I have you covered. Leo will be just fine. Simply wait a moment." The officers trailed closely in pursuit. "Officer Scott, exuding a composed yet resolute presence, advanced as his team expertly fastened the handcuffs around Vanessa's wrists. "You're under arrest for felony assault and endangering an unborn child," Officer Scott declared with an icy detachment. "One possesses the prerogative to maintain silence." Vanessa, her breath coming in ragged gasps, attempted to voice her objections, but Rosalind interrupted her with a decisive edge. "That is sufficient. This predicament is of your own making, Vanessa. Your actions have crossed a line, and now you must confront the repercussions." While Nathaniel accompanied me in the ambulance, Officer Scott and his team apprehended Vanessa. Rosalind lingered, granting the police unrestricted access to her home's security cameras, which had recorded the entire harrowing assault on video. Irrefutable proof of her daughter's transgression. All had transformed. What began as a serene journey into motherhood has morphed into a harrowing ordeal, yet the battle to safeguard my child is only just unfolding. The journey to the hospital unfolded in a haze, punctuated by the strobe of red lights, the rhythmic beeping of the ambulance machines, Nathaniel's anxious voice offering whispered reassurances, and the warmth of my tears tracing paths down my cheeks. The searing pain throbbed relentlessly within me as I fought to maintain my grip on consciousness. My thoughts solely fixated on Leo's safety. "Remain by my side, Claire. Simply inhale and exhale." "We're almost there," Nathaniel kept murmuring, his grip on my hand tightening as though he feared the moment he would release it. The paramedics moved with urgency, keeping a close eye on my vitals while delivering medication to alleviate the pain. One of them said softly, "You're doing wonderfully, Claire. Simply wait for your precious child." Upon our arrival at the hospital, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses stood ready, anticipating our needs. The doors burst open as they hurried me in, propelling me into the emergency maternity unit. Radiant lights enveloped me, and the urgency in the voices of the medical staff resonated in the air. "Get ready for an emergency C-section. Labor that occurs before the expected term, roughly 34 weeks. As the team gently pulled Nathaniel away to prepare him for surgery, I felt his hand slip from mine, a fleeting connection lost in the chaos. His visage vanished amidst the whirlwind of medical personnel. With a gentle murmur, I spoke just before they rolled me into the operating room. "Kindly look after our son." The final image etched in my mind before surrendering to the depths of anesthesia was Nathaniel's lips forming the words, "I love you." Hours later, I found myself awakening in a hospital bed, enveloped in a haze of grogginess. My abdomen aches from the surgery. The persistent drone of machinery and the flickering glow of screens enveloped me as the world gradually came back into focus. My hands moved instinctively to my stomach. Devoid of substance, my heart quickened. "Leo," I murmured, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. A nurse bent down, her fingers softly brushing against my arm. "Claire, it seems you have awakened." All unfolded smoothly. "Your son is currently stable, though he remains in the NICU." "He is a resilient young warrior." My eyes brimmed with tears of relief. My child was alive. Shortly thereafter, Nathaniel stepped into the room, his demeanor a blend of fatigue and profound relief. His eyes shimmered with a sheen as he settled next to me, gently grasping my hand. "Leo is managing well," he murmured softly. "Though he is diminutive, the doctors exude confidence. Both of you have arrived." I grasped his hand with a feeble touch. "And what of Vanessa?" His jaw clenched. "She finds herself behind bars, precisely where fate has deemed she should be." Officer Scott and his team apprehended her immediately. Mother presented the complete security footage captured from the living room. It encompassed all aspects. Her menacing words, the assault, it all. He took a brief moment to gather his thoughts before proceeding. "Rosalind stands firmly behind us. She remains resilient, yet her heart aches for the choices her daughter has made." As I shut my eyes, a tumultuous blend of relief, anger, and sadness washed over me. I murmured, emphasizing the need for her to face the consequences of her actions. Nathaniel inclined his head in acknowledgement. "I've already reached out to Attorney Eric. He is meticulously collecting all the evidence. Vanessa will face the consequences of her actions." Despite the ache that coursed through my body, my mind remained sharp and unclouded. The battle was far from finished. She had nearly shattered my child's existence, and now she would at last confront the full force of justice. The ensuing days unfolded as a fragile dance between trepidation and optimism. Leo found himself nestled within the confines of the NICU, ensconced in a small incubator surrounded by a labyrinth of wires, monitors, and machines, meticulously observing his every breath. His small chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm, yet each beep of the monitor held my heart in a state of suspense. Every day, Nathaniel and I made our way to his side, dedicating hours to sit beside the incubator, our voices gentle whispers that floated through the glass. The moment I was granted the privilege to touch his delicate hand through the narrow opening, tears streamed down my face. His tiny fingers wrapped around mine with an instinctive grip, delicate and fragile, yet brimming with vitality. The physicians held a tempered sense of hope. The neonatologist reassured us, declaring him a resilient little fellow. At 34 weeks, infants frequently thrive with appropriate NICU support. We will persist in observing his breathing, feeding, and growth. Rosalind made frequent visits, offering warm meals, fresh clothes, and a comforting presence for us both. She lingered by my side through countless nights, her presence often quiet, yet providing a solace that only a maternal figure can bestow. With each fleeting glance at Leo, I witnessed a profound mix of affection and sorrow reflected in her gaze, an unwavering love for her grandson intertwined with the deep anguish stemming from her daughter's unforgivable choices. "Claire, you possess a strength beyond your awareness," she said softly one evening. "Leo, he embodies the spirit of a fighter, much like his mother." Nathaniel remained at my side throughout the entire duration. Amidst the whirlwind of paperwork with attorney Eric and conversations with the detectives, he remained steadfast, never allowing a single NICU visit to slip through his fingers. Every evening, as the day drew to a close, we found ourselves side by side, gazing at our son in slumber, softly murmuring the vows of the life we envisioned for him, waiting for the moment he would be strong enough to return home. As the days morphed into weeks, Leo experienced a steady growth. His breathing grew steadier, his weight began to rise, and gradually, the wires and tubes were removed, one by one. The nurses, having formed a bond with him, frequently lauded his advancements. At last, after 5 arduous weeks, the doctor beamed and shared the news we had fervently hoped for. "Your son is prepared to return home." Tears streamed down my face as Nathaniel enveloped me in his embrace. At last he murmured, "We are bringing our little boy home." Leaving the hospital with Leo cradled in our arms marked the pinnacle of emotion in my life. We had emerged from a harrowing ordeal. With our baby cradled safely in our arms, a new chapter was on the horizon. One filled with healing, the pursuit of justice, and the unwavering commitment to safeguard our family's future. Once Leo returned home, secure and gaining strength with each passing day, it was time to confront the next challenge, the legal one. Vanessa had endeavored to dismantle our family, and both Nathaniel and I were resolute in our commitment to ensure she would confront the complete repercussions of her actions. One afternoon, attorney Eric arrived at Rosalind's home, bearing a substantial folder brimming with documents, medical reports, police statements, and the security footage that Rosalind had supplied. Eric sat opposite us, his demeanor composed yet earnest. "I have meticulously examined all the details. The case against Vanessa is compellingly strong. The security footage unmistakably captures the assault, revealing not just the kick to your abdomen, but also the hair pulling and the grasping of your face. When we consider your medical records, the details of your NICU stay, and the police reports, it becomes clear that we possess a remarkably solid case." Nathaniel gave a resolute nod. "She nearly took the lives of my wife and my son. We aim to ensure that she is completely held accountable." Eric pressed on, noting that you were 8 months pregnant during the assault. The allegations carry significantly greater weight under state law. Vanessa is set to confront a series of serious felony charges, encompassing aggravated assault against a pregnant woman, reckless endangerment of an unborn child, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress. I took a deep breath, my grip firm around Leo, who lay serenely in my embrace. What might the duration of her sentence be? Eric hesitated, aware of the gravity of the accusations and the evidence collected. "The prosecution is poised to pursue the harshest sentence possible. We will seek a complete prison sentence. No probation, no mere reprimand, but genuine incarceration." Rosalind, perched beside me, delicately brushed away a tear that had escaped her eye. "As a mother, it pains me to witness the choices Vanessa has made. Yet she is the architect of her own circumstances. Claire and Nathaniel, you are both worthy of justice. Leo is entitled to a childhood filled with safety and security. Nathaniel extended his hand, enveloping hers in a tender grip. Thank you, Mother. Your support has been invaluable to our success. As Eric meticulously arranged the final documents to officially lodge the charges, I cast my gaze upon Leo's delicate features and silently vowed a promise deep within my heart. I shall forever be your guardian. You shall never face pain again. The legal proceedings had commenced in earnest. Vanessa was on the brink of confronting the consequences of her every decision, and this time, there would be no refuge from the grip of justice. 2 months later, the courtroom buzzed with an electric tension as Vanessa stood at the precipice of her trial. Nathaniel and I sat side by side, our hands clasped firmly together. Attorney Eric sat beside us with an air of confidence, his case meticulously prepared and supported by irrefutable evidence. As Vanessa entered the courtroom, a striking transformation was evident. She appeared thinner, her complexion pale, and an unmistakable nervousness radiated from her. Her typical arrogance gave way to a veneer of composure, yet her eyes flitted around the room, deliberately avoiding ours. The prosecution commenced with a compelling opening statement, meticulously detailing the harrowing events of Vanessa's violent assault, the financial extortion, the menacing threats, the brutal attack, and the close brush with my son's life. The security camera footage from Rosalind's premises illuminated the large screen, revealing the incident in its entirety, precisely as it unfolded. The heated exchange, Vanessa's brutal strike to my abdomen, the tugging of hair and grasping of my face, my descent as my waters released. The room was enveloped in silence as the footage came to a close. What had just unfolded before their eyes was undeniable. The prosecutor faced the jury, asserting with conviction that this was no mere accident. This act was a calculated and brutal attack on a defenseless pregnant woman and her unborn child. Vanessa's defense attorney feebly attempted to assert that her actions were driven by emotional turmoil, a consequence of her overwhelming struggles with infertility. Yet, during the cross-examination, Vanessa's temper ignited once more. Her voice trembled with fury as she retorted, "I was pushed too far. She possessed all that I desired. For a fleeting moment, I found myself losing control. That does not constitute a crime." The prosecutor replied with a measured tone, yet the gravity of the situation remained clear. It was indeed a crime, and a grave one at that. Your fleeting moment of anger put 2 innocent lives at risk. Nathaniel's grip on my hand grew firmer as we absorbed the sounds around us. Our feelings laid bare yet unwavering. When Rosalind took the stand, her voice was a gentle whisper yet resonated with conviction. "I love my daughter. But what she did was unforgivable. I beheld it firsthand, and I submitted the footage to the authorities. Claire held a place in my heart akin to that of a daughter, and no one should ever endure such an attack, particularly while expecting a child." At last, following a series of drawn-out days filled with testimony, the judge readied himself to announce the verdict. Silence enveloped the courtroom, a palpable tension hanging in the air. "Vanessa, the verdict has been rendered. You stand guilty on all counts: aggravated assault against a pregnant woman, reckless endangerment of an unborn child, and the intentional infliction of emotional and psychological harm." The judge's voice resonated with a calm authority. "In light of the gravity of your actions, this court hereby imposes a sentence of 5 years in state prison, with no opportunity for early parole. Furthermore, you are required to provide complete restitution for all medical expenses, emotional distress, and legal costs borne by the victims." The sharp crack of the gavel resonated throughout the courtroom. I released a long, shuddering breath, my eyes brimming with tears, yet this time, they were tears of relief. Nathaniel leaned in close, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's over. She's finally facing the consequences." As Vanessa was escorted away in handcuffs, she threw one final resentful look our way. Yet this time, her strength had vanished. The scales of justice had finally balanced. Once the trial concluded, it felt as though a burdensome weight had been lifted from my shoulders. The nightmare lay finally in our wake. With Vanessa now serving her prison sentence, a sense of liberation washed over me for the first time in months, allowing me to breathe freely once more. Not long after the sentencing, Rosalind invited Nathaniel and me to her home one evening. Leo rested serenely in his bassinet beside us, his delicate chest rising and falling in a harmonious cadence. Rosalind extended her hand, her fingers brushing softly against mine. "Claire," she said gently, "I understand this has been an excruciatingly difficult time for you, for all of us. Though I cannot erase the actions of Vanessa, I want you to understand that my home is a sanctuary for you. For both of you, for as long as you require it. I would be truly honored if you chose to stay here with me as you continue your journey of healing and nurturing." Leo. Though her voice quivered ever so slightly, the depth of her sincerity shone through unmistakably. I gazed at Nathaniel, who offered a warm smile and gently squeezed my hand. "It would mean so much to us, Mom," he said. "You've accomplished a great deal already. We would appreciate the opportunity to remain here and embark on a new beginning together." Thus, we resolved to take the step of moving in with Rosalind, her abode transformed into our refuge, a haven of comfort, restoration, and security. She assisted me with Leo's feedings, his doctor appointments, and those lengthy, tiring nights when he struggled to find rest. Each time my gaze fell upon her cradling Leo, the depth of her love for him was unmistakable, as was her unwavering resolve to ensure that the cycle of suffering ceased with her. With the passage of weeks, our abode became a sanctuary of laughter, gentle lullabies, and cherished family moments. Leo's strength blossomed with each passing day, his once tiny, delicate form now brimming with healthy baby fat, his inquisitive eyes tracking our movements around the room, and his radiant smile illuminating our hearts. Nathaniel and I gradually found our way into a fresh cadence of existence. We relied on one another more than ever, thankful for the connection that had deepened through all we had endured. At last, Rosalind, who had once teetered on the brink of losing both her daughter and her family, found solace in the radiant joy brought by her grandson. The dread and turmoil that had once enveloped us now seemed like faint echoes in the background. Each morning as I cradled Leo in my arms, the reasons for our relentless struggle became vividly clear, reinforcing our unwavering commitment to safeguard him always. A year slipped by more swiftly than I could have ever envisioned. Life had discovered a lovely cadence, one that resonated with tranquility, brimming with affection, and distant from the turmoil we once faced. Leo had blossomed into a vibrant, healthy, and perpetually inquisitive young boy, illuminating every nook of our home with his laughter and warmth. Today marked a moment we had long envisioned during our darkest hours: Leo's first birthday. Rosalind devoted the entire week to meticulously orchestrating this intimate celebration. The living room was a vibrant spectacle, adorned with balloons of every hue, while colorful streamers danced across the windows, and the delightful aroma of freshly baked cupcakes wafted through the atmosphere. A small table bore a beautifully adorned blue and white cake, its surface gleaming, crowned by a towering #1 candle poised in anticipation of the flame's embrace. Surrounded by friends and close family, Leo sat in his high chair, his eyes wide with wonder as smiles, claps, and laughter filled the air around him. Nathaniel lingered behind me, his arms encircling my waist in a tender embrace, while Rosalind nestled nearby, her eyes shimmering with a serene happiness. As we sang the familiar tune of Happy Birthday, I found myself unable to contain the tears that welled up in my eyes. Yet, these tears held a distinct essence. They did not stem from fear, pain, or grief. They embodied sheer gratitude. A year ago, uncertainty loomed over whether Leo or I would emerge unscathed. Yet in this moment, we found ourselves secure, joyful, united. As the final notes of the song faded away, I bent down and pressed a gentle kiss on Leo's forehead, murmuring, "You are my miracle. You are the reason I battled, and I shall forever remain steadfast." With a gentle smile, Nathaniel remarked, "You are the reason we have grown stronger than ever." Rosalind's hand rested softly atop mine. "You have also bestowed upon this family a renewed opportunity for joy. Leo represents our fresh start." As the celebration unfolded, I took a step back, observing the tableau before me. My husband sharing laughter with our friends, Rosalind cradling Leo as his giggles filled the air, and the comforting warmth of family enveloping us all. The echoes of yesteryears had at last dissipated. Vanessa's actions had once loomed over us like a dark cloud, threatening to unravel everything we held dear. Yet, in the aftermath, we emerged not only unscathed, but transformed, stronger, more united, and filled with a profound sense of gratitude. This marked our new beginning, and as I gazed at my lovely son, I felt a deep certainty that no matter what obstacles life might present down the road, we would confront them united as a family. I truly appreciate your time spent engaging with this heartfelt narrative. If this resonated with you and you crave more powerful and inspiring tales, consider giving this video a thumbs up. I eagerly await your insights, so please don't hesitate to express your views in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, ensuring you stay updated with all our upcoming uploads. Your support holds immense significance for me. Until we meet again in the next tale.